Are you aware of the Divine Syndicate?
The Divine what? Is this a joke?
No, I am quite serious.
What a ridiculous name. Anyway, I have never heard of this syndicate.
Can you tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly, I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Why were you late?
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
That's a question you should probably answer. All right, well, I'm actually recording this a couple days after the last one. I should probably make it known that I was going to record this in 60 frames per second, considering everything that's going on with YouTube now, and them unlocking that whole thing. I did a few Alien Isolation videos on that, but the more I'm reading into it, I think that at the moment things are just not they're just not ready. It appears there's a few issues regarding different web browsers like Firefox and Internet Explorer are having issues, and I think most people use Chrome. I don't know that for a fact. I don't know this, statistical evidence or anything, but I would believe that to be the case. That having been said, I'd like to just hold off on using 60 frames per second consistently until a lot of those issues are cleared up. Not to mention, with Sherlock, for some reason, whenever I'm recording in 60 frames per second, there's this weird sort of fluctuation. I don't know why it does that per se, but it does. Don't ask me. I don't know. That's just how it is. What's this?
A task list for Albert, compiled by Martin Hamish. Sweep out the palm house, scrub the toilets, clean the storage shed tools.
Okay. And we got to talk to Dunn now.
Your father's death does seem highly suspicious. What were your movements here on that day?
Suspicious? Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of Lysa something, or Lear Pontus, or... No, wait. These Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily room, and I found my father lying dead on the floor. Oh, my God.
Tell me, have you ever heard of the Divine Syndicate?
No, I cannot say that I have.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Alright, last thing is last. Let's go ahead and talk to Miss White with the final bit of information that we have. Actually, I should go ahead and take a look at deductions real quick just to be sure. Yeah, alright. I saw that. I was thinking maybe. White's lack of experience. The knowledge Miss White acquired at the university might not be enough to guarantee the correct reaction of the deadly plants, or White's knowledge. Miss White had the biological knowledge to stimulate the dead plants. She did. That is very true. That having been said, I'm not going to say White killed Dunn. I'm not doing that. I think that the primary suspect here is Hamish, and I'm not going to rescind that just yet, just because Miss White might know what it takes, so does Hamish. So, I mean, and Hamish has a better motive overall. At least I feel. So I'm not condemning her quite yet. Does she seem like a bit of a gold digger? Yeah, sure, but that doesn't necessarily translate to willingness to commit murder.
From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room. Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn heading towards me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert and Mr. Hamish from the large glass house. I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
The Divine Syndicate. Does that name mean anything to you, by any chance?
Not at all. But it is a very pretty name.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
Thank you, miss.
All right. Okay. Sometime later.
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
I guess I collected all the information that I needed to, but I'm going to go ahead and check out that recording that he mentioned. I want to be sure that there's nothing on there that is of use. And if there is, that could be helpful. What? What's that? Nope, just a boring newspaper, book, whatever the hell. I'm trying to remember, where was the recording? I think it's in this room, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there's the phonograph. Okay, so I'm guessing right here. What was it? 320.
Here it is.
Thank you. Well, actually, I should check that.
Cylinder Records. Cylinder.
Okay. Cool. Photograph.
I don't hear any.
Nope. God damn it. Put it on the thing.
These plants, classified as shrubs or grasses, have adapted to their arid environment due to a system of underground roots.
This recording seems very long. It is unnecessary to listen to all of it. Miss White was in the laboratory, as she told us.
All right, so that was just to confirm that she was in the lab at the time of death, I believe. Isn't that? Excuse me. Isn't that right? She said that she was in the lab when sorry, excuse me, when Dunn died? I believe that's what she said. Anyway. Alright, so I need to go back into the colonial whatever the fuck room. I'm having a hard time remembering a lot of this stuff in this game. I need to stop spacing these cases out so far. I've been really busy the past like week or so. So that's why my uploads have been kind of infrequent. Alright, there's something that spans into there. Alright. Alright, well, I assume that it's gonna go in order to all that, yeah. Alright, so he inhaled the spores, he was disoriented. I think that's the only two. Damn it. Perfect.
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spores to activate. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over the bust. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open with his shoulder. We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed and died not far from the pool. Well, it is time to perform our experiment on the ventilation system.
Right. So in review, essentially, what the situation is the plants were set up on a table in the order that we had them in the last video. During that experiment, I'm guessing, the caterpillars were put inside the ventilation grid. Somehow, I guess this opened and they dropped it onto the one plant that was necessary to cause the whole chain reaction to occur. The spores flew up into them, he inhaled them, and that, led to the events that eventually transpired. So let's put the caterpillars in the ventilation grid.
The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
These windows...
I got it. So I need to follow the vent. Fuck. Alright, let's go this way. Oh wait, no, I remember now. No, I remember coming across the fuck. I'm having a really hard time memorizing stuff. But yeah, I remember coming across that. Right over there. It's this thing. The ventilation system engine.
The power is on. The engine cannot be started. The engine has started. The ventilation system is working.
Perfect. Alright, so I'm guessing go back. Wait, okay, no, I need to turn this back on. Maybe check out this room. Ah! Alright.
Excellent. This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the other one.
Wait, okay, this is Dunn's desk.
From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room.
Okay, so maybe this was an attempt to frame Dunn, or maybe he did actually do it, because if you can't see it from here, I don't know, that'd be kind of difficult to do. Follow the vent into here. Through this room.
Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson to check the result.
Whose room is this? Fuck.
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out, by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room.
Okay. Ventilation used. Alright, Hamish's opportunity. Martin Hamish had the opportunity to stimulate the deadly plants in the Colonial Collection Room. As a biologist, he would have understood the technicality of how to do this. See, there you go. Oh. Those... That's stupid. Alright, let's take a look at this. Albert's lack of experience. Albert is not very good at botany. It is doubtful that he could have learned how the plants might release their deadly spores. Albert had the biological knowledge to stimulate the... No, yeah, he didn't know shit. So that's why I don't believe that he did it. Alright, fine. Fuck it. If I have to choose... Let's go with Hamish. Hamish is guilty. Martin Hamish could be the killer. He had the opportunity to steal the Divine Syndicate's plants and stimulate them from his workplace directly after he had locked Montague Dunn inside the Colonial Collection Room. Arrest Martin Hamish. Effect the arrest of Martin Hamish. Okay. So that's our next objective. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are right on the cusp of ending this case.
Let's go to Scotland Yard.
Yes, sir.
Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha! I knew it. I'll send the lads around to arrest him.
Very good. I shall wait to hear from you.
You knew it? Why didn't you do anything?
Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
Is that so? Huh. Alright. Oh, fuck.
Holmes, my God!
Yes, we found him like that.
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please? I should like to examine it.
Jesus Christ. Body at reserve. The fuck is reserve? Where is reserve? Do I need to go back to Scotland Yard? I don't know what the fuck reserve means. I don't understand. Reserve. Hey, do you know what reserve means?
Mr. Holmes?
That's not what I asked. I said, do you know what reserve means?
Mr. Holmes?
I know my last name. Oh shit, there it is. I feel like an asshole.
The mark around the neck is very visible. He died instantly.
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the
Interesting.
key element of this case.
Interesting. Life has become a living hell. I find it unbearable. Dunn deserved to die, but I cannot forgive myself for having his blood upon my hands. We Hamishes seem to have always fallen victim to our circumstance, and I find myself to be no exception. I must atone, and I shall do so, here and now. Farewell. So he killed himself. Well, I mean, obviously he killed himself. Alright, okay, I'm a little confused, actually. The club... Okay. Martin Hamish was unable to run due to the tibial torsion on his club foot. Therefore, we should find out if he had sufficient time to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room and activate the ventilation system. Did he have an accomplice? Really? Miss White!
Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
Of course
I have
it didn't.
another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline. such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
The map at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Timeline. I haven't
Let
played.
us analyze the facts and statements so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
I haven't played the Jack the Ripper case, so this should be interesting. Alright, let's see. How do I know which one's which? Miss White is talking with Martin Hamish in the laboratory. Miss White joins Hamish and Albert at the Water Lily greenhouse. I think she said 20 to 11. She was still in the lab, so... Okay, so Albert meets Montague Dunn and Martin Hamish at the seed house. Montague Dunn and Hamish go out into the backyard. Montague Dunn, at that point, is in the dry tropics room, while Martin Hamish returns to the seed house. Miss White is talking with Martin Hamish in the laboratory come 10 o'clock. Come 10:10, Albert saw Hamish returning from visiting Miss White. Meanwhile, Martin Hamish returns after talking to Miss White. Montague Dunn is poisoned at 10:30, and Miss White joins Hamish and Albert at the Water Lily greenhouse. I think this timeline works well. I'm gonna have to cut out a decent amount of that. It's been a while. I'll just trust me on that. All right, I think this should work. Please. Yeah, okay.
Let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked him inside there at 10:20.
So who locked him
Martin
in?
Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door. More than enough time. Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
Miss White, most definitely. It's not even a question on my fucking mind, is Miss White. Wait, what? Okay, there we go. Miss White had 20 minutes. It would have been enough to trap Montague Dunn. She could have locked the door and alerted Martin Hamish to activate the ventilation system. Or, Martin Hamish and Miss White are not accomplices. It is unlikely that White would have had the opportunity, and 20 minutes would not have been enough to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Right there, I mean, that last little bit completely contradicts what Holmes just said. So, White obviously had time. So, let's go with that. Now what? Is that not enough? I'll read them, but Albert's not involved. I don't believe that. Martin Hamish and Albert are not accomplices. It is unlikely that Albert would have had the opportunity, and 10 minutes would not have been enough time to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Or Albert was Martin Hamish's accomplice. 10 minutes would have been enough for him to follow Montague Dunn and lock the door in order that Martin might activate the ventilation system. Let's say not involved. White is an accomplice. Margaret White was Martin Hamish's accomplice in killing Montague Dunn. Her professional Her professional ambition and personal situation had been damaged by the breakup with Dunn. I can either condemn her. Miss White is a dangerous woman, very capable of carrying out an elaborate murder for monetary gain. She flirted with Dunn's son, Albert, and later pushed Martin Hamish to his suicide. She deserves the rope. Or absolve her. Miss White is a desperate woman in debt, resigned to consorting with my fucking god. With wealthy gentlemen. When Dunn cast her aside, she killed him in desperation. Hamish tried to save her. She deserves a second chance. Horseshit. Killed him in desperation. Was she just... I just didn't know what to do. No, fuck you. You knew what you were doing. You were being a fucking terrible human being. I don't give a shit if he cut you off. Sorry, but that's... no. Like, that really kind of bugs me, like, that explanation. It's like, she's a child, and she doesn't know what she was doing. She clearly does. She had no real remorse for anyone other than herself. And so, yeah, I mean, do I necessarily agree with killing her for this? I don't know. I don't know the whole situation. I just know the facts that have been presented. What I do believe is that she absolutely has no remorse for what she did. She knew what she was doing, and she was doing it for monetary gain. So, sorry, Miss White. You're condemned.
But Holmes, how can you be certain that we'll find Miss White here?
It is obvious, Watson. Just use your brain.
I am using it. I do use it.
Now that the rope has tightened around Martin Hamish, Miss White must act to erase all traces of her implication. After the suicide of her accomplice, there is one final trace remaining: the deadly plants of the Divine Syndicate. She will be there.
Very good. Shall we go?
Just one moment. Now listen to me, Watson. I shall see her alone. You will conceal yourself behind her, quietly.
Whatever are you planning?
Nothing spectacular. The impulses of women have always been a mystery to me, but she is a bold one, and so we must be cautious.
All right. You can count on me, Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, good day to you.
You do not seem surprised, Miss White.
Well, I was expecting you.
Not for too long, I believe. So please tell me, as it is still unclear, who planned the murder? Was it you?
You were wrong, Mr. Holmes.
It was Martin Hamish, then. You managed to convince him to take on a more prominent role.
You could not be further from the truth.
You think that you can fool me?
You don't care what I think.
It is difficult to care about someone who is capable of pushing a man to his suicide. It is over, Miss White. The police will be here any minute.
Over, perhaps. One moment you were here, and the next, you were on the other side.
The other side? No! Stop!
Oh, nuh-uh. We're not doing that whole suicide thing. It's not happening. Get ready.
I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Fuck you. I'm gonna come closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Help you on the road to death. Oh.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly.
That's right, Watson.
die.
No.
Give her a haymaker.
It's too late.
Do it. Punch that bitch. What the fuck was that? That was the most, like, bitch little slap I've ever seen in my life.
Well done, Watson. She was not faking.
Miss White, you have no right to take your own life.
Dr. Watson? Did you just save me? Or worse?
Worse. Trust me, it was worse. Miss White is a dangerous woman, very capable of carrying out an elaborate murder. When she realized that she was unable to make any further monetary gain from Montague Dunn, she advanced her affections to Albert, his son. She was the one who locked the door of the Colonial Collection room directly after Hamish released the caterpillars, and then pushed Martin Hamish to his suicide only to cover herself. She got what she deserved. Clues found: 22. White is an accomplice. I was right, and I got all clues necessary. God damn, I'm doing well in this game. Alright, I thought that was a pretty good case, actually. Pretty interesting. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I would still maintain that the last case, or not the last case, the, fuck, what was it? The, this Royal Baths one. Not the last case, but the one before it. That was most definitely my favorite, but this is probably right behind that, or it's tied with the, missing train. Somewhere in that region. But, yeah, I think that overall that this was very fun, and I believe this that this is the second to last case. I think the next one will be the final one. That would mean, there's 6 in total. So I think there's probably roughly 4 more videos left to be had to close out this series. So that should be interesting. And I'll finally have this done. It's been over a month since I started this fucking thing. And I've been enjoying it a lot, but there's been so much going on in between that it's been very difficult for me to really just sit down and be able to do like 2 full hours, which is roughly what each case is for the most part. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video now, and we will pick up the next case very soon. So if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe and all that, and I will see you guys next time.